Now, time for our special series, Hello GST, where CNBC TV 18's Menaka Doshi decodes the benefits of GST for different sectors. Today, she talks about the impact on the telecom companies. Take a look.
On Hello GST, today we examine the impact on the telecom sector. Let's start with the advantages.
The benefits could be broken into three parts. First, the SINVAT credit, which is currently not available or is under litigation, specifically on the expenses on the tower or the infrastructure that the telecom industry is using, that credit should be available under the GST regime, being a seamless tax regime. The second point would be on the classification issue, which is a classic issue under the current IDT regime, wherein classification of any activity into a provision of service or a supply of good, such as sale of SIM card, should also be put to rest under the GST regime, subject to the fact that the standard rate of goods and services are constant. And the third major benefit that the industry will foresee is the taxes, the local taxes that they are paying on the diesel, which is the primary input used by the tower. And currently they are not available to credit for the entire sector. However, once GST is applicable on petroleum sector, the said credit would be available.
The question is, will these advantages outweigh the negatives? For instance, a higher rate of tax if the standard rate is indeed fixed at 18%.
The hike of the rate of taxes from 14.5% of service tax currently to 18 to 20% as reported by CA would be a heavy burden on the consumers, because ultimately on the bills that the consumers are paying, they would have to pay higher taxes. The second major issue that we foresee is the exemption which is currently being enjoyed by the distributors who are distributing the services of various telecom operators may be bought under GST regime, because GST is ultimately a no or a less exemption sector, the regime. And in such a scenario, the services which are provided by distributors will also be under the GST net, ultimately leading to a higher tax burden to the end consumers. The third major issue is the place of supply rules. Specifically in the telecom sector, this is a major issue, because the services which are in the sector, like roaming services, which is consumed in various states at the same point of time, and also interlinking services where towers are being used by the same operator between branches. So which state is actually the consuming state and where the taxes will have to be accrued will be determined by the place of supply rules. In a nutshell, maybe I can say that if not appropriately worded and the law does not clarify on the specific on the place of supply rules, the end consumers will be bearing huge taxes if credits are not passed appropriately by the sector.